I'm Van.
I'm Sori.
That's Lavi.
Salty and Chip.
About to get in some Burzum. This is a Blackfire show. This is
Burzum's Blackfire?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, okay.
This is Varg.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to the big homie. We gotta talk, Varg.
For sure.
For sure. We gotta talk. Speaking of talking, the Antifa videos getting a lot of traction. So, shout out to the big homie BM fan. You got like 5,000 views, my guy.
You're famous.
On that note, somebody email me some topics so that we can kind of have them as discussion placeholders for the fireside.
It's a good idea.
I mean, it doesn't...
VinandSori@gmail.com.
VinandSori@gmail.com. Just type fireside in the subject title. Firesides are coming up. We try to do at least 2 or 3 a week. So, they're always fun and entertaining and educational. I learn every time. Okay. This is Burzum. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct. Is it Burzum? I don't know. I don't know what Burzum means. This is it's the Blackfire show. Ever since we started doing Blackfire, like this is people have been asking for this song. So there you are.
All right, go.
the world and penetrating darkness, shooting, rising in the story, contaminate the air. To close the world and penetrating darkness, the chill rising from the soil, like a tremendous new life, new meaning.
Okay. The very repetitive lyrics. I like that sound in the background. Yes, that. I really like that. And there was like the combination of that and like the that like kind of sounded like one of those haunted houses. Like I was like, that is perfect like music for like one of those. We were never allowed to go in those, but when we walked by, that's
what it
kind of
sounded
like.
That's what it sounded like. Going to a haunted house.
Kind of had that sound.
The black metal soundtrack.
Yeah.
Stealing from Burzum.
Right.
I guess this is a really popular song of theirs. I'm still trying to figure out what the appeal is to black metal. Like this type of black metal. I'm still trying to figure it out.
To be honest with you, when this one first started, I was like, actually, you know what? Usually the black metal songs, I'm like, this is definitely not my thing at all. This one, though, I actually liked more so because, you know how they all, like, what was the one we listened to? Is it, like, yesterday or the day before? I was like, isn't this kind of like...
Omega?
Yeah. And May, like, there was all that, like, hey, that sounds like a lot of, like, this one had some like...
Blast. It was just a blast beat straight.
Yeah, but this, like, had some, like, different...
Peaks and valleys.
Yeah, and you could, and there was, like, so, I can't tell the order in the other songs. But this one, you could see that there was order.
There's definitely some logos in this one. Like, you could, especially that little background thingy, like, the notes were very defined.
Yeah.
Like, I like this song more than, like, so there's obviously different types of black metal. I guess Dimmu Borgir is black metal. Like, when I listen to bands like Deathspell and then Dimmu Borgir, I'm like, okay, they're all under black metal? Okay. Or even Magua.
Yeah.
Or Batushka. Mm-hmm. This type of black metal is just like, it seems to just function on noise. But what I liked about this song was that there was at least that little thing in the background gave it some distinct notes.
Yeah, I agree.
So it was a good balance of just chaotic noise with some simple order.
I feel like this is one of those, like, dark thinking songs. Like, you're just gonna sit there and just, like, kind of zone out.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing startling about it. It kind of, like, pulls you out. Like, and then I'm not sure, like, when night falls, she cloaks the world in impenetrable darkness. I don't know who the she is. And I don't know what the chill that rises from the soil that contaminates the air is either. So I'm like, I don't really know. Do you know what any of those things are? Of course, when I hear a chill rises from the soil and contaminates the air, all I think is a murder.
Really?
Yes, like some body goes down and like now from the soil, like that's the oh man, we went for a walk the other day and like there's literally one spot and every time we go by it, it smells so horrid. And I was like, our cat went missing when I was a kid and it was so terrible and it turns out the neighbor killed it. But anyway, like every time that I smelled like some rotting flesh after my cat went missing, I was always like, oh, what if that's where the cat is? And I would like go around where that smell was to see if I could find, because I just needed to know, is my cat okay? Should I keep looking or should I abandon hope? And so every time we hit this area on the walk, I would think about my cat. And so we took a different route this time and we decided to like walk the train tracks. And then when we got off the train tracks, I was like, Vin, should we go up there? Like the smell is like getting worse as we came up the edge. And he was like, what did you say?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, as we got to the top of the rocks, the smell was like so bad. And I looked to the left and I saw like a little pet kennel. And I'm like, some friggin' jerk probably put their pet in there and abandoned him behind this old building. I don't know. Part of me wanted to check to see if the thing was okay. Obviously by the smell it wasn't. But anyway, like so that's what I thought of when I heard of this. A chill rises from the soil and contaminates the air. Suddenly life has new meaning. It has new meaning for everybody involved. The person that did it, the person that did it. I don't know. That's what I thought of.
Yeah. That's right. I was listening
because
to
everything alters our life.
I was listening to the Underground Metal Elitist live stream last night. And I guess there was this sick bastard who used to put antifreeze in these little dishes for cats.
They suck that right up because it's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, kills them.
That's disgusting. Like, why would... That's what happened to your cat?
No. Well, it turns out, like, we were looking for the cat forever, and then my dad had a sneaking suspicion, so he sent my sister over to the person to say, hey, have you seen my cat? When she was upset. And he laughed. He was like, nah, if I see your cat, I'll be sure to tell her to go home, though. And then a couple years later, one of our friends was friends with his son, and then in a moment of just raw honesty, because he was annoyed with my friend, he was like, also, by the way, we killed their cat. And he was like, what? Apparently they would take aspirin, I think it's aspirin, and crunch it up, and you put it in raw beef, and they'll eat it up because it's the beef, but the aspirin shuts down their system. Really, it's really, really slow and painful death. But that guy was, somebody's bunny got out, and he like put a rake over it and stomped on it. He's just mean, just evil person.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
How is that not against the law? Isn't there like cruelty to animals?
To be honest with you, we were in like a pretty little white neighborhood, and I don't think anybody wanted to make any ruffles by calling the law enforcement. To be honest with you, I think that's what it was.
Well,
because if somebody saw him do that, like I didn't have proof aside from what the kids said. So I mean, you could still call and they could investigate that. Put a little fear in the situation so he'll think twice before doing it the next time. But he had a little fish pond in his backyard that he would put his fish in. So I think the cats naturally would go over and, that was fun, I'm sure, for them. And so, but you can't make your cat not go in somebody's yard. I mean, it's a cat and they roam around.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, Chris was talking about it with the, he figured, how Chris is with animals. He loves his animals. And, he basically said to him, what the fuck are you doing? And the guy was like, oh, they keep coming in my yard, blah, blah, blah. Yep. Chris was like, word.
What'd he do?
You know how he is.
Yeah.
This is the Underground Metal Elitist, by the way. You should check out the live stream. So he took the antifreeze and dumped it all over the guy's car. Yeah.
Does that peel the paint?
Yeah, it fucked out. He had hundreds of dollars in damage. I guess the guy confronted him the next day. Well, Chris, he's like, how's your car? He's got that Canadian accent. How's things going over here? And the guy's like, somebody fucked up my car. Was it you? And Chris said, that's right, it was me, motherfucker. Stop fucking with people. Well, I guess his neighbor, little girl, knocked on his door and said, hey, have you seen my cat? Sure enough, this motherfucker had killed the little girl's cat. And of course, Chris, he acts like a tough guy, but he's really a sensitive dude, so he couldn't tell the girl. He couldn't say it to her.
Yeah.
So he went and told the parents, and, the parents had to say it to her.
Oh, I don't blame him. I wouldn't be able to tell a kid either. I would say, well, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would have done the exact same thing he did. Parents will say, and the parents might not want to give her that information. My parents, when they got rid of my cat when I was a kid, like, well, we had multiple animals. It never really worked out for us. Either the neighbors killed it, they never came home, or my parents decided it wasn't working because we wouldn't take care of them. But the cat there was, throwing up all over the house, and so my mom didn't know. The cat probably had worms, but we didn't know anything about that. She didn't know anything about it, so she was like, I gotta get rid of this cat. Like, it's too much with the kids and the cat. So they brought it to the SPCA, but they told us that he ran off and got married and had a family. So we're like, oh, we named him Spike. Spike ran off and had a family, and so you kind of felt sad, but then you're like, well, you can't blame the cat. He went and had a family. All the while he had been stuffed in a pillowcase and brought to the SPCA.
Shit.
Good Lord.
I don't know. Maybe this song is like about those turning points that happen to you. Like where you hit a certain point of no return.
Well, yeah.
Suddenly life has new meaning.
That would go to my theory.
It's interesting because, like, we talk a lot about the meaning of life and nihilism and all this, and, like, of course, the meaning of life is always looked at as something positive. Oh, you found the meaning of your life. But what if you're so influenced by evil that the meaning of life is not a positive thing?
What?
What if you get influenced by evil?
Yeah.
So that your purpose or your meaning is to be evil. In that sense, having a meaning isn't a positive thing at all.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Like, and I'm surprised that nobody has introduced that into the equation.
What do you mean?
Because I always challenge atheists on nihilism and saying, everything is meaningless.
Yeah.
And they always respond, no, you can find meaning in your family. But nobody's come back and said, well, is meaninglessness better than having a bad meaning or a bad purpose?
That's true.
Like, so then here it's like, I don't know, because that's the last word he said in the song is meaning. He repeated that like 2 or 3 times at the very end. And so it's like,
yeah, but even when I heard that part though, I felt like that he wanted meaning. Of course, that goes against what I had said originally.
Well, I don't know. It looks like it says life has new meaning.
Yeah.
So he had a previous meaning or purpose to his life that got changed when this, spiritual whatever arose from the earth.
Maybe he wants it to have meaning.
Well, I'm saying he does have meaning. It says life has new meaning.
Yeah, but it could be a thought, and that would be what would happen, and then life would have new meaning. Maybe he doesn't have new meaning.
What are you talking about? I keep saying he has new meaning.
Yes, but if it was a thought you were having and you were thinking, night falls, it's things that you see. Do you ever think about stuff that hasn't actually happened yet? And then, like, he pictures all these things, then all of a sudden life has new meaning. So then it's like, oh, okay, well, that's the way to get new meaning. Maybe it's a thought.
Yeah, look at the context. It's impenetrable darkness, chill, contaminating the air. How do you get anything positive out of that?
No, I don't think it's a positive thing, but I'm saying maybe he wants life to have meaning, but maybe the only way that it can have meaning for him is if it has some sinister darkness to it.
Well, it had a previous.
Know anything outside of that.
Well, it doesn't say suddenly life has meaning. If he didn't have new in there, then I would roll with you. But it says life has new meaning, which means that it had a previous meaning before.
Yeah, maybe it meant nothing. Maybe you're right. Maybe it meant nothingness, and then now it has new meaning of something sinister.
That's it. No, I don't think he started with a nihilistic view of the world. I think.
What do you think? I'm confused about what you think.
What I'm saying is he had a previous meaning to his life, and then this dark spiritual experience happens, and now he has a new meaning to his life.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And the reason I brought up nihilism or emptiness is because even in those discussions or debates, which I'm still waiting for somebody to explain to me how you can have meaning, like authentic meaning. Maybe it's a one-on-one discussion so we can get away from whole crowds of people, so people's egos aren't involved in the situation.
And the side chat on the side.
Yeah.
This guy's an idiot. Get off the phone. Hang up with this person.
Yeah. Whereas Lilo, like, she always has all these like eloquent comments. Never gets on the line to explain to me how stupid.
That's a she. I always thought that was a he.
But it is an interesting thought. Like, I would argue, like, if I was playing devil's advocate as an atheist, I'd argue and say, is having no meaning better than having a bad meaning?
Yeah, I would say.
Because I think there's some people that this happens to them. Like, I really do. I think that there's some people, like, they have some experience, and then the meaning of their life is just to be as evil as they fucking possibly can.
No, I agree with that.
Like, obviously, you look at a guy like Hitler, and it's clear that he has, Hitler was involved in occultism and all this stuff.
Oh, he was?
Yeah. So it's clear.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he was an evangelical Christian for sure.
Yeah, because that's what you always hear people say. Like, I never believed he was a Christian. That never even entered my mind. But I'm saying people have said that, but I've never heard anybody say he was involved in the cult.
Yeah, he was involved in the occult for sure.
Why is it cult? Is it cult or occult?
It's occult.
And people just say cult for short?
Well, cult, the suffix cult has to do with ritual and all that stuff. Like, for example...
So anything could be a cult?
If you read anything scholarly about the Old Testament, they'll talk about the Israelite cult and all that.
Anything ritualistic?
Well,
so
yeah.
The Catholic Church, the evangelical, everything. We're all cults then.
Yeah, any sort of ritual has a cult in it.
We all have rituals.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a cult.
Shoot,
yeah.
People's families have rituals.
Yeah.
Oh, you always make cult sound like it's such a bad thing.
Well, I mean, there's a sociological cult.
So the occult is different.
So, I don't know. It just seems like there's some people, there's a lot of people, they're like us, when I was, I had all those complications to the baby and all this, and so I was given I had that experience, and I was given all this meaning was imposed on my life. Mm-hmm. And it was positive. It kept me alive. And then you have people who don't have any meaning and fall into despair. But then there's other people who have a sinister meaning. They have some dark experience that they can't turn back from, and then the meaning of their life becomes to do evil shit. And of course,
yeah, I mean,
if you really, really want to open a ball, this is what I'm saying, and somebody touched on this in an email about a guy like Judas.
Yeah.
It says Satan entered into him. So, he had that, impenetrable darkness, a chill.
Yeah.
And all this. And then his life took on new meaning. Because I don't think Judas, when he was a teenager, said, I'm going to be the son of destruction and I'm going to...
Took on new meaning or it got meaningless? He went and killed himself.
Well, his job was done. I agree. I mean, Judas fell into... It's interesting. It seems like Judas fell into nihilism after seeing Jesus die because, he's such a complex character, the Judas figure. But my point is, that was the meaning of his life, though.
Yeah.
And Jesus said it. He's the son of destruction. So that the scripture could be fulfilled.
Never liked that.
That's what it says.
That's one of my things of, I don't like this.
Right.
I don't like that one bit at all.
It's Jesus' final prayer. None has been lost except for the son of destruction, so this scripture could be fulfilled.
Definitely having a conversation with God about that one when I get to heaven.
Yeah. So it's there are some people, Proverbs, the wicked for the day of evil. It's clear in the Bible, there are some people that are that's their thing. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the devil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't present these really bad people as God going, oh shit, I didn't know that was going to happen. Mm-hmm. That's a very, very challenging idea if you want to be consistent or and of course there's ways to harmonize that with compatibilism and concurrence and all that good stuff, and at some level it's satisfactory to me because if you think about original sin, everybody's the son of destruction unless God,
yeah,
or whatever. But if a person I wonder if people self-consciously understand that, or did Hitler not think of himself as a bad person? I'm talking about a person who self-consciously understands that the meaning of their life is to be a bad person. I'm wondering if that's what this song is about.
Well, I mean, I've known people that have embraced that in their lives, and they've told me they wanted to destroy their family, their relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
I mean, I just don't know if you could always love that which you do. Because that the person that I'm talking about didn't always say that. They weren't always yes, I'm going to destroy.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. No, I don't. That's something completely different. That's psychological issues and, you know, baggage from the past and all that.
And then how could you say about Hitler? I mean, he loved on his cat and...
I'm talking about like spiritual shit. Like, your mission is to wipe the planet, get rid of every Jew on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, that's your purpose. I'm not saying that a person has to be like completely through and through evil.
But he told himself that was the right thing to do, right?
Well, I don't.
So then,
but that's my question. My question is, when you get to that point in that type of evil, do you even have to tell yourself it's the right thing to do? That's the question. Like, you know, that's what you know. I some people don't understand when we're talking about morality. Some people don't need to justify anything. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. Justification of right and wrong comes from a certain type of a worldview. But if a person holds an opposite worldview, where my purpose is to do this task and whether it's right or wrong is irrelevant.
Yeah, but I don't know as much about Hitler as you know. But isn't there... I thought he said stuff like calling them subhuman and trying to purify the world. Isn't all of that language that's indicative of somebody who's trying to make wrong right?
It's indicative of somebody who understands human nature.
If you mean as far as other people involving themselves with them?
You're not going to get other people to jump on board and murder innocent people with you.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So you have to...
package it differently for them.
Oh, yeah.
We're eating candy corn, in case all you curious people are wondering.
But I don't think that he really felt like...
breakfast.
I don't think he felt like he needed to justify himself to anything. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, this type of moment, like, you know...
You know, Hitler is like... Some characters make me angry, and some characters make me sad. The people that worked for Hitler make... You know, maybe I don't know enough about Hitler to, like, whatever, but, like, he always kind of made me sad because, well, he never... As far as I know, he wasn't the one doing the violence. He was sending other people to do it, correct? Or did he do some of it?
I mean, he took part in World War I. Mm-hmm. So he took part in violence.
Yeah. And if that's in a soldier sense.
Yeah.
Different than what they were doing in those concentration camps.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. I agree completely.
It's so weird to think that he was a baby once. That he was like a 2-year-old that just wanted to play.
Yeah, it's strange.
Those things always make me feel so weird. Like when we were watching that gang thing, and those guys, like all those things that they were doing that were so bad, and then I was like, but they were 2 once, and they played, and they wanted snacks, and like that makes me so sad to think about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, did they come to that crisis point spiritually where something spiritual happens to them and then they embrace sort of a dark meaning to their life? What do you give the song?
To be honest with you, this one is actually hard for me to rate because I don't know. It's a very curious song to me. Because like at first I would have given it more of like, and again, like I'm not into this like type, but I would have given it, you know, more of like a 7 or an 8. But then as it kept repeating over and over the same thing, I was like, the 7 minutes felt kind of long. And I don't know if that was intentional. So I feel like I'm a bit confused on the song, so it's hard for me to give it an honest rate. But I like that sound in the background, and that's why I would give it a higher rate. But then the repetitive, I was like, I don't know. What are you going to give it?
He repeated the thing under clean vocals. There was a...
Oh, I know. When they did that part and they were reading it out.
Yeah.
And like I said, like, you know, I have my 4 categories. This was not total shit to me.
Well, no, and it's like, you know, initially it sounded demonic, and then, but then at the same time, like, he had those clean vocals, which sounded very, very human. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like you're seeing the end product first of, like, embracing that type of darkness, mm-hmm. and then, like, still within in the inner shell of that outer darkness, you still see the human. He's telling you how he got to be that dark person. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how I interpreted it. And then, like, there's this, like, beautiful kind of music in the background. And, you know, it's kind of like, that's the woman, you know, that's the... because it was dark, but it was still beautiful sounding in the midst of that chaos, and that's how she was, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that a demoness would be beautiful and dark and spooky, but you couldn't really stop. You couldn't, like, that took your attention. That took a ton of the attention away from
did.
the, you know.
It did.
But at the same time, it's communicating a bunch of dark shit. This is, and it's true, like, when I'm listening to Halford, like, my mind and my music, whatever, faculty goes, okay, this is, and it switches.
Yeah.
I listen to Korn, I know, okay, you're gonna hear this. So when I'm listening to this type of black metal, I go, okay, this is, and then you're listening to it as a black metal listener.
Right.
It's very, very interesting. Because 2 months ago, I'm like, look at it, what the fuck is this?
I know, me too.
I still don't get
why
you like a bunch of playing and no notes are distinct at all. Like, I don't understand.
But this one made more sense to me. Like, this one, I'm like, oh, I can see why people would like this one. But the other stuff, I'm like, what?
I don't understand what the appeal is to having notes. Like, I understand, because some of this is like, they don't like overproduction.
Yeah.
Stuff being too clean in studio and all this.
Yeah.
So I get the feeling like you like a live sounding, like Korn in their first record did that. You could hear them adjusting pedals and stuff like that, and then they'd play. So I get the whole, we don't want everything overproduced, but this to me is like, you can't hear any distinction in the notes, which is how a heavy song is heavy, you know? So that part I don't understand. But this particular song by itself is a 9 for me, actually.
Whoa.
I think this is the highest I've ranked a black metal song that's like true cult.
I think that is the highest you've ever given one.
It's a good song. Where you go?
Well, it's a hard one. I think maybe I might go with the 9 as well.
Well,
The number just kind of kept going everywhere. I couldn't decide what I was going to give it. But I guess a 9. But the thing is with this one, it's curious to me. I've got all these question marks just floating around my head, kind of like when we did Batushka. So, like that. But with this one, I don't know.
shout out to Patushka. My man, let's do an actual audio interview. Let's shock the world.
Whoa.
If anybody
I don't
knows,
think they do stuff like that.
they don't. If anybody knows how to get in touch with those guys,
Yeah.
Vin and Sori want an audio interview.
Yep.
You can wear a mask and stuff.
Use some clown voice or something.
Yeah. But anybody knows how to get in contact with Batushka so we can hear an audio interview, that would be great.
Yeah, seriously, guys. Maybe that
Vin and
priest,
Sori at gmail.com.
that priest guy.
Priest
that
guy.
talked to us before. Hook us up, man.
All right.
Vin and Sori at gmail.com.
What'd you get?
I'm going with the 9.
9? 9. All right.
And we want to talk to Varg.
And we want to talk to Varg. Anybody knows Varg, let us know.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Vin out.
Sori out.
Down.
Yeah.